Hi guys, Miss Molly here. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today we're going to look at some pictures together, and they're pictures of regular things you might see anywhere, but they've been taken very close up, and so it might be a little bit tough to recognize them. So let's start with our first picture. Ready? Take a good look. Any clue what this might be? I'll give you a hint. It is something, or does come from a food, maybe even a vegetable. Ready? It's actually from the seeds inside a bell pepper. Okay, you ready for the next one? Look hard. What do you think? Where is that from? I see some lines. Did you guess the pages of a book? See? This part's over here. It's taken up really close. All right, here's the next one. I see something yellow. I would say an orange. But I don't think that's it. I'll give you a hint. It is made from wood. Ready? Did you guess pencil? That's right. That was from the very top of a pencil right here. Okay. Let's do one last one, because I know these are not kind of easy. What do you think that's from? Definitely some type of plant. Your hint, it's from a fruit. What kind of fruit might have that sticking out of it? Did you guess? An apple? Yeah, it was the stem of an apple. So, did you find it a little difficult to recognize some of those objects? What are some of the things that were helpful that helped you go, oh, I think I might know what that is? Maybe you were guessing or looking at the color or the shape of it or some kind of markings on it. One of the things I want you to think about is how do we recognize the people that are in our lives? Have you ever met up with somebody in a place that you're not used to seeing them, or recognizing them, maybe seeing a teacher at the grocery store or one of your really good friends at a restaurant. We might not even recognize each other when we get back to church and get to see each other again. Sometimes where or how we see someone can change whether or not we recognize them. It's not always about just seeing the features we're used to seeing. I know that when I taught in the classroom and my students would see me in the store, I didn't always look the same I did at school. I'd have been wearing a ball cap, had my hair pulled back, no makeup on. So I want to talk to you about today's story. Today's story happens to be on that same day that the women discovered that Jesus was not in the tomb, that the tomb was empty. A man named Cleopas and a friend of his were walking to Emmaus, which is a few miles away from Jerusalem. They were so sad by the news of Jesus' death and were confused by all the rumors of the empty tomb. It didn't make sense to them. As they walk, suddenly, Jesus is with them. But they don't recognize him. Perhaps it's because they were blinded by grief because they were so sad, or that they didn't believe the resurrection is even possible. So they tell him all about the sad events that had taken place that day. And Jesus assures them that all is as God planned and tells them. And so he talks to them and tells them all the places in Scripture where it points out who Jesus is and what will happen to him and what God will accomplish through him. And so they're amazed by this stranger. But guess what? They still don't recognize him. They're like, oh, he's so wise. But they don't recognize that as Jesus. It wasn't until they invited him to stay for dinner there in Emmaus, and he breaks bread with them at the table, and then they realize, oh, that is Jesus. All of those things actually happened. We're not sure why they didn't recognize Jesus right away, but it could be anything like we've been talking about. It isn't until Jesus does something specific that they actually recognize him. So, Jesus is still with us today, and he's involved in our lives, even at home. So, how good are you at recognizing him when he's with you? Something to think about. In the meantime, I hope you guys are well, and I will see you soon. Bye.